to Chapter 12. We're going to be talking about the eukaryotes. I didn't put a quote on this one yet. I guess when I wrote it, I just didn't do it. I'll try to get one on there at some point. I chose the image for this one was Francisco Redi, which we've talked about or in the first chapter, but he's known as the father of parasitology. Alright, so we're going to be talking about parasitology in this one a little bit because that is a lot of our eukaryotes are going to be parasites. We'll talk about vectors and things like that. And then, so parasitology, this is parasites, study of parasites. In microbiology, we care about parasites because parasites usually have some sort of a microscopic phase, but they're also just really harmful to humans, so we care about it for that reason. But parasites do infect people. Their hosts and their interactions between them is the other thing. So it's not just the parasite itself, but the host and how they interact. Parasite-host interactions are really complicated things going on here. Okay, now so basically we have biology, ecology, pathology as well, because all this affects human health. Parasites can be unicellular, like some fungi, certain yeast species, protozoans, for example, malaria. They can be multicellular, like other fungi, helminths, or ectoparasites, like ticks, for example. A lot of your biting flies are vectors for diseases, including some parasites, okay, especially protozoans and some other things, okay, so we'll talk about that. Now, the fungi, fungi is a kingdom, kingdom fungi. The study of fungi is called mycology, and when we have a fungal infection, we call that a mycosis. These are chemoheterotrophic, which means they eat other things. They get their food by absorption. So what they usually do is they grow on their food. They send out their fungal hyphae. They absorb nutrients. So they are chemoheterotrophic. They eat chemicals from something else by absorption. Most are multicellular, but there are unicellular yeasts. They reproduce with spores, most of them. There's over 100,000 species. And around about 200 are pathogenic to us or have some other issues, like we talk about ergot, things like that. Fungals have spores. These are reproductive structures that they use to drop and develop and grow hyphae. The thallus is the body of a mold or a fungus. Called a thallus is much of what is of the fungus is below ground, called a hyphae. Hyphae are long filaments of cells. They connect cells. They grow. They elongate at the tips. They may break off and create new hyphae asexually. A mycelium is a mass of hyphae, and that's what you can actually see. So mycelium make up a lot of the body like a mushroom. Okay. There's algae. They belong to several kingdoms, but they're photoautotrophic. They get their nutrients from diffusion by absorbing it straight out of the ocean or straight out of the water they live in. Okay, they lack tissues. They don't have roots, stems, and leaves of plants. There are some that produce toxins, like red tide. Most are aquatic. They're dinoflagellates. They're unicellular algae. We call these plankton. Algal blooms, that is an example where planktonic algae can go in due to changes like extra light, changes in temperature or nutrients in the area. Protozoans, several kingdoms. They are chemoheterotrophic. That means they get food from somewhere else. They absorb it. There are some photoautotrophic species that do photosynthesis. Most of them get their nutrients from absorption. Sometimes they ingest. They're all unicellular, and many of them are motile, like, for example, these Giardia trophozoites. Protozoans, they are parasitic. They form cysts, which are difficult to treat. They're eukaryotic, so it's hard to treat because what would kill them might kill you. They have complex life cycles that allow them to go from host to host. Complex life cycles is typically an indicative thing for parasites. Okay, it's complex life cycles. Complex life cycles let them avoid certain things. They have asexual reproduction. It might be fission, where they split themselves, budding, or schizogony. Schizo means to split. So it is multiple fission. Nucleus does multiple divisions, and the cytoplasm surrounds the nucleus. And there is some protozoans that do sexual reproduction as well. They can form cysts, which are reproductively important because it's protective and it can allow them to survive and reproduce. It can allow them to survive in food, in different moisture environments, when oxygen is lacking, too hot, too cold, antimicrobials, things like that. The cysts can survive outside of the host, and sometimes they have to shed the cyst to continue on. So I was going to get a little sip because I just ate lunch. Okay, we're going to get into helminths. The word for flatworms is Platyhelminthes. Platy meaning flat, not fat, but flat, and helminth meaning worm, flatworm, Platyhelminthes. They lack a digestive system. There's trematodes, that's your flukes. They have a body that looks like a leaf. There's for example, the liver fluke, the blood fluke, the lung fluke, the sheep fluke. Then there's cestodes, and that's tapeworms. That's what we see on the right is a tapeworm. They're long, flat. They have pieces called proglottids, and at the head end we got what's called a scolex. The scolex lets them stick to and hook and sucker onto the gut and be intestinal parasites. They don't ingest tissues, they just get nutrients that instill it from you. Helminths, and there's nematodes. Nematodes are so-called roundworms. They have complete digestive systems. It's a tube-in-a-tube body plan. A billion people may get Ascaris lumbricoides. Ascaris is a really nasty worm infection. It's nematodal. Pinworms, Enterobius vermicularis. They get in your large intestine. They come out at night. Mama pinworm will come out at night of your anus and lay her eggs on your anus. And sometimes it makes your anus itchy, and the mama pinworm comes out and lays her eggs at night, and so pretty nasty. Arthropods are vectors. There are many classes of arthropods. There's arachnids, that's 8-legged creatures. Spiders, not so much, but mites and ticks definitely are great vectors. But arachnids do include spiders. But mites and ticks are great vectors for disease. Some crustaceans can be, crabs and crayfish. Have 4 antennae. And insecta, they have 6 legs. Now, flies, lice, and mosquitoes are really good vectors for diseases. Okay. Alright, so arthropods, lots of like mites and ticks, like Rocky Mountain spotted fever, Lyme disease, babesiosis, things like that, relapsing fever, sucking lice cause endemic typhus, the rat flea cause typhus and plague, tularemia from deer flies. Aedes is species of mosquitoes like Aedes aegypti. This causes dengue fever, yellow fever, and even heartworms. Anopheles mosquitoes cause malaria. Culex species cause encephalitis. Tsetse flies, African sleeping sickness, trypanosoma. Chagas is kissing bug. So I'll have to give some examples of bugs that cause diseases. Alright, so it's a pretty short chapter, and we'll see you in the next one.